I'm Haley Taylor, and you're listening to the Rough Draft Diaries. This week on the Rough Draft Diaries, I'm going on a tour.
We'll go to the front of our kitchen, so we'll just go to the... Excuse me, I can't stand stuff like this. It's okay.
That's Wendy Huntley, who, before we could start our tour, noticed a cabinet door was out of place and quickly had to put it back into order. Wendy is the president of Connecting Kids to Meals.
So our organization's been feeding kids for over 16 years. That allows for us to provide meals at no cost to kids who are enrolled in after-school programs in and around our community. Last year we provided nearly 500,000 meals to kids in need in the community. So to say that we serve a critical role in this community is quite an understatement.
All the programs that use Connecting Kids to Meals are located in low-income or underserved areas all over our community in 5 different counties. The meals are prepped, though, in the center I'm currently in, right here in Toledo. They prepare hot meals.
Here we have our, where our hot food is prepared, but we have our conventional ovens providing you with the traditional dry heat, and then we also have steamers.
And then there's another section that's dedicated to cold meals. It's a room that has rows and rows and rows of coolers.
And then down here you'll see the sea, the sea of coolers. And of course that isn't even it. We still have more over here and more in the staging area. But this is how we transport our cold items. So, for example, our milk is delivered 2-3 times every single week, thousands of cartons. And so we'll have 65 milks in here, covered with ice so that they're kept cold. So,
That's a lot.
Yeah. And again, we only have 50 sites active right now during the school year, but we have 135. So you must come back and see the never-ending sea of coolers in the summer months.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy. The summer is the busiest time for Connecting Kids to Meals. If you think about it, during the school year, a child can receive maybe 2 meals. Some schools offer breakfast, and pretty much all schools offer lunch. But during the summer, those options aren't available. So production has to double to make sure these children are getting at least, at a minimum, 2 meals a day. It's quite the production.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's so great to have so much space to be able to organize everything, because it seems like there are so many different aspects to the job of getting this food out into the community.
This is a great space, but I will tell you, Haley, we're coming close to not having enough space. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but when you have so many various components that have to happen in order for the full meal to be provided, it can be a daunting task. But we're happy for our space, but I am ever mindful of the growing need in the community and then being prepared for that growing need in the community. So let me show you.
As we head back to Wendy's office, she elaborates on that growing need, that growing number of children who are without meals.
I continue to be surprised with our poverty rate nearing 40%. And I look at the number of kids that actually rely on free or reduced meals, meaning they qualify because of their status, their financial status, they're living in or at or below the poverty rate. We have over 54,000 kids just in our county that are attending schools that rely on school meals. So when I look at these numbers, not to mention some of the other ancillary issues that relate to poverty, so the youth homelessness number in our community at about 3,100 kids just at TPS is alarming. I am not only concerned and alarmed, but my goal is to get out there and make sure other people are sounding the alarm as well. When you start sharing that kind of data, people's eyes are like, what? Really? Like, I had no idea. And so we're trying to make sure that as many people as possible know about this problem and know that we're working very diligently to make sure that kids have access to healthy meals. And our goal is to make sure that they have access to meals that they like.
Finding out exactly what kids like to eat is definitely a priority for Connecting Kids to Meals, but it's added to a long list of issues the program can run into. For example, how do you make sure kids have enough food during that special time of year?
So for Christmas, almost 3 weeks, kids were off. Their families and parents weren't off for 3 weeks. their parents might have been off for a couple of days. And so what happens with the kids that are off and not in school? So we partnered with several of our after-school program partners and summer program partners, and we said, we really need you guys to serve as a site. Many of them did that. Our library system, our boys and girls clubs. We had some churches where folks were able to do that. And we also had, our LMHA locations, neighborhood locations were available. And I was at Mott Library last Friday when those meals were being passed out. And we handed one to the little girl and she said, "Is this for me?" And it was just like, that's the reason I do what I do. That smile, that response, the fact that she was just thrilled to get this weekend packet makes my job worthwhile.
I'm Haley Taylor, and thanks for listening to this episode of the Rough Draft Diaries.